Benvenuti in questo quinto ed ultimo episodio del GiGi TV Show, intitolato Tutto incluso. Oggi Luigi intervisterà una star internazionale, direttamente da Hollywood e dalla serie TV Twin Peaks, Sherilyn Fenn, raccontando gli inizi della sua carriera, dalla sua storia d'amore con Johnny Depp alla serie Twin Peaks. Buona visione.
Benvenuti in questo quarto episodio del GiGi TV Show. Oggi abbiamo come ospite un'attrice internazionale, ma soprattutto io non posso ancora crederci che è qui con noi, Sherilyn Fenn. Come stai, Sherilyn? Tutto bene?
Hello, thank you for having me. It makes me happy. I don't watch my work, and when your work touches people, that's all that matters. That's why you do it. So thank you. Also, I'm part Italian.
Wow, veramente?
My grandfather's name was Quattrocchio.
Ah, quattro!
And they lived, it was like The Godfather. They cut off his name when he came to America, and they made it Quattro. How funny.
Allora, prima domanda. Come è iniziata la tua carriera d'attrice?
Oddly enough, I feel that there was a plan that was not my plan. I moved to California with my mother, and I was supposed to start my final year of high school at Beverly Hills High, and I didn't want to do that. So out of nowhere, I just said, "Oh, I'll act. I'm in California." Wasn't a dream. I am somewhat a shy person. I was not. It was hard. It was hard until I found a teacher that I really loved, and he taught me that the gift of acting. You know, when you have pain and a bad childhood and stuff like that, that the best acting is when we use our deepest part of our hearts to not illustrate something that we've already learned, but to learn it while we're being filmed.
Beh, aveva già un grande talento allora. Aveva già un grande talento.
Oh, that's so sweet. I mean, I had people teaching me as I was going along. Producers, it was kind of crazy, but I started getting small roles, and then a little bit bigger. But again, Roy London, my teacher, the idea was to be emotionally fluent. So I know I have to deal with my father issues. So while I'm being filmed, I have my own subtext within the story. My truth is coming out, and not a truth that I have an answer to. So that when people work that way, it becomes more personal, and people feel you, like as if you're telling your friend something that happened to you in your life, and they say, "Oh my gosh, that happened to me," when, you know, it's deeply personal work. And when I realized it was when I really loved it. Otherwise, I just felt like they paint you up like a doll and you just go, you know, I didn't feel connected until I met Roy. Until I met Roy London, my teacher, who I met. I finished the pilot of Twin Peaks, and then before I started the series, I met Roy.
Ok.
So he worked with me from then on.
Okay,
It's
quindi...
like my teacher, Roy, taught me. He said, "You know that bad childhood that you have had?" I said, "Yes." He said, "I will show you how it's a gift." So my mother was married like 8 times. We were constantly moving. There was no stability. So I came from a broken home. So it became something that I hated about my life, that I actually was now able to identify it and look at it and share it even.
Quindi Sherilyn sei stata una donna molto ma molto forte già in tutta la tua adolescenza comunque.
Yeah, I would get in trouble for my strong spirit. I was always the one that was pointing out the lies. Like the emperor is naked. He's naked. You know? And everyone is and like, why aren't we allowed to say the truth? You know, so yes, because I was surrounded by many lies, I was always looking to find what was real, what the truth was, what was authentic, and even in my heart.
Ok, sei una grande donna, Sherilyn.
Oh, God bless you. Thank you for
Dio ti
saying
benedica.
that. That's so kind. I don't feel that way most of the time, but thank you.
Seconda domanda. Raccontaci come sei stata scelta per il ruolo di Audrey Horne in Twin Peaks. Puoi raccontarci anche qualche aneddoto su questo personaggio?
Well, it's a long story, but I'll shorten it as much as possible.
Ok.
There was no Audrey Horne in the original script. So, long story short, I met a manager who told me that when I go to interviews, I should just really try to be myself, be authentic, even if I'm shy. Don't try to be something that I think they might want. My next audition, and it wasn't an audition because David Lynch just meets people. So I think I was being met like most of the girls my age for Donna or Shelley's role. And then I sat with David. I was myself. I was quiet. He did most of the questioning. I was honest about the script because the script wasn't great. When David gets his hands on it, it's completely different. The casting person called my agent and said I should have been more positive in the interview. And 1 week later, they called and said, David is writing her a role. So it was very much a collaboration of David and I, in that since originally Audrey was a small role, I could wear my own, I was like picking my own clothes and like not wearing such big sweaters, but tighter ones. And, you know, and he knew she had to have saddle shoes and nobody could find any. So they had to paint these white Oxfords to look like a saddle shoe. And it got to the point where David and I were so close. We have dinners and I would say things and then it was in the next script. I'm like, David Lynch, what are you doing? But he said, well, you're my Audrey.
Ah, ok, forse per la tua bellezza allora. It's beautiful.
He said my eyebrows were the Twin Peaks. I have a picture he painted for me over there.
Wow,
the original
bello.
name of the script was Northwest Passage.
Ah, non lo sapevo questo. Comunque, quello che voglio dire, quindi diciamo sul personaggio di Audrey Horne e Sherilyn Finn, diciamo più o meno siete diciamo la stessa persona, perché si ha scelto il personaggio come si dice al momento, quindi nella serie vediamo Audrey Horne ma è anche Sherilyn Finn in realtà.
Well, especially in this instance, because he wrote it for me. He took things I said. It was a lot of my clothes that I was wearing. And yeah, I mean, he said that I was mysterious. And during our interview, he could see in my eyes that there was mystery and pain and things that he likes to explore. So lucky me. I would say it literally changed my life because in that moment, somebody basically by writing me a role said, you're enough. Like, you're enough just as you are. You're lovable. We're writing you this role. And it gave me permission to be more authentic. And it was a life-changing thing for me, really.
Quello che voglio dire, comunque, diciamo che quel personaggio era proprio, diciamo, che si sentiva libera, che era se stessa, ok? Che eri te stessa. È una cosa bella perché comunque essere naturali in un film rispecchia molto anche, diciamo, l'attore in sé per sé. Bello questo. E un'altra cosa che voglio dire, hai una bellezza infinita, mamma mia.
Thank you so much. I feel like our beauty comes from within, no?
That's right.
Esatto, sì. Sei bella sia dentro che fuori.
Thank you.
Terza domanda. Ora ti faccio una domanda un po' intima. Puoi raccontarci la tua storia d'amore con Johnny Depp?
Con Johnny Depp. It's fine. They're actually saying they're doing a documentary and they're kind of going back and forth with me about it. No, I don't mind talking about Johnny because I don't want, if I want to be a part of the documentary, that's my thing. But Johnny was my first love. He said, as much as he was married, he said I was his first love. I was 19, he was 21 when we met, and I met a young man. I didn't meet a movie star. I met a young man on an AFI film, which is the American Film Institute. They do student films. So we were both just slowly, he was more into music, but he felt like he could make some money doing, well, yeah, a friend of his, we were all at a small agency, and he became friends with Nicolas Cage, who said, you can make money acting, also. And so he started, we met once before, but then we worked on the AFI film together called Dummies, and that's when we completely fell in love. And the movie is a student film. It's called Dummies. He will always be my John Christopher. I call him John Christopher.
Perché John Christopher?
Because his name is John Christopher Depp, and I don't know why. I like David is DKL. I like middle names, and he was just always my John Christopher. I don't know why.
Ok, ma un'altra cosa che voglio chiederti, è vero che lui ha inciso il tuo nome su una chitarra? Ricordo più o meno questa cosa qui.
I'm not sure about a guitar. I know we were together when he was making this film called Platoon, and you could see across his helmet my name. Oliver Stone's Platoon. It was one of Johnny's, Oliver Stone's Platoon with Charlie Sheen and Willem Dafoe and a lot of guys. It's a war movie. And when the guy in war, apparently, they might put their loved one. So all my friends are like, it's like Sherilyn. It's really sweet. I feel that if Johnny and I were not in the business, because that we could have stayed together having a normal life somewhere. But my parents, both of us came from extremely broken homes. And there was too much stuff that each of us had to learn, I feel, separately.
Ok, ho capito. Quindi volevi una vita tranquilla, alla fine dei conti, senza, diciamo, più privata. Ok? Esatto. Diciamo, all'epoca, come due ragazzi che la sera si vedono un film.
Yes, and it's not that we didn't have that, and we loved cooking together and just, watching shows together. If I was sick, he would want to take care of me. I mean, for me, it was an ideal first love relationship. I never felt that kind of love, and that somebody was really, really there for me and accepted me as I was. I remember breaking down and sobbing and feeling the need to tell him everything that was wrong with me. And he was just laughing and going, I love you. What are you? I can't believe you look at yourself this way. But we all have core issues, you know, and I had never seen love work, you know. So my point was more that if we had met in Kentucky and we're just people that weren't pursuing careers in Hollywood, we could have had babies. It would have been fine. You know, I saw him at the photo shoot right after I had my first child, and he just said, "Oh, why didn't we have a kid?" You know, it was kind of bittersweet.
Sì, infatti. Dovrebbero fare un film su questa storia d'amore.
So sweet.
Johnny and Sherilyn.
It was a beautiful, beautiful love story. But you know, I don't want to comment on, because he ended up getting that in his life, you know, a woman he loved and children, and then he let it go. So I think that many people get a lot of fame and they lose sight of who they are or what's really important to them. The stories, the stuff that goes around, I don't know that Johnny. You know, we send messages occasionally, whatever, people that want to talk to him or give him some kind of products that are beautiful, like Magnolia Pearl clothes. So I hooked them up. But it would be very nice to sit down and just see if that person is still there. He's very young, and I have no idea what that kind of fame does to somebody. But I will say that with so much being exposed, I have thanked God multiple times for not having that kind of fame, for not having what I thought I wanted, because the price was too high on all these people that I used to look at and want what they have. And then I found out what they went through. And I was so grateful, and I still am. I'm grateful where I am.
Ok, allora è meglio avere una vita così tranquilla e cioè non raggiungere questo picco di essere una grande celebrità, ho capito.
I believe so. Yeah. Yes, absolutely. I mean, it's amazing to have made that big of a turn in my life, to literally be realizing how I feel like I was protected with the many things that have happened to people around me. I feel protected. So I felt it more like a fate, because while I was searching and seeking that kind of fame, and because it's not that you're seeking the fame, but you want to get the good scripts, and the good scripts go to these people. So I wanted that. And then now, knowing what everybody went through, I'm like, thank you, Lord. I was protected. What I thought I wanted was not, I don't know what would have happened.
Ho capito, quindi non era quello che desideravi realmente, cioè l'hai capito da dopo, perché comunque tu sei stata pure candidata al Golden Globe, era già una cosa che ti portava a essere quasi una celebrità mondiale comunque, eh? Cioè sei stata candidata al Golden Globe, Emmy Awards per il ruolo di Audrey Horne in Twin Peaks.
It is good enough, because because the things that are being revealed right now about things that happen in Hollywood are horrifying. I did have big agents and certain people try to come and say, "Oh, come, we'll make you a bigger star," bigger agencies. And I said, "Is that what you do? Because I've had my manager since day one. So now you're going to swoop in and take me and make me blah, blah, blah. No, thank you. I'll stay with the person that's believed in me." And I think that another agent said, "You don't win because you don't play the game." I said, "What's the game?" "Well, the game is to be that person and la la la, and do, you know, flirt with these executives, possibly sleep with them." It was all these things that I would never do. I think I was, because I was protected. Like if anybody had asked me, I think people know she's not going to ride that way. She's not going to do it. She doesn't going to go to your parties. She's not going to do all the weird, sick, perverse things that are actually going on. No, thank you. At all. And I had a baby when I was 27. So my first son. And that also is something the business doesn't like. You know, they want you to look a certain way, be a certain way, this and that. And it was so amazing to be living the best part of my life, having met this child, having loved this child, nursed this child, and then for my business to be sort of against me. It said, no, sorry.
Ok, e queste sono le cose più belle della vita.
Yes, because the narrative to the world, to all of us on some level, is if you look this way, have this money, drive this car, date this, it's all lies. And it's so few people that have gotten there, but I know some of them that say it means nothing. It didn't make me happy.
It's all appearance.
Yeah, it's the Goo Goo Dolls. Johnny Resnick is a friend of mine, and such a powerful line that always, from one of his songs, did you lose yourself out there? Did you get to be a star?
Good. La devo ascoltarla, sono curioso, me la sono fatta segnare allora. Quarta domanda. Puoi raccontarci qualche aneddoto o qualche retroscena dalla serie Twin Peaks durante il set?
So what happened that was, I thought it was unfortunate, was that in the first season, Kyle and Lara Flynn Boyle became a couple. So they're dating, but my character is small, but I'm getting nominated. I'm getting, you know, like a lot of attention. And the original storyline was going to have Special Agent Dale Cooper go and be with Joan Chen's character. But as soon as they started putting us in scenes, like something happened. And, you know, it might be sad to some people. To me, it wasn't like, I didn't fancy him or think he was, you know, he was just a nice guy. But when our characters came together, like all this stuff is happening. And so they keep writing more and more and more. And then by the end of the first season and my nominations, Lara Flynn Boyle was so angry that she got Kyle to tell David they had to split our characters up, which was amazing. I said, how can she do that? And then Kyle said I was too young for his character. I was older than his girlfriend. And his actual girlfriend. And then B, they brought in a younger girl than me and his girlfriend to now play opposite him, Heather Graham. So it was just, I just thought it was really sad because the love story came organically. Just something happened when they were together and we wanted them to be together. And then because an actress is jealous and giving her man problems at home, they changed the whole storyline. They brought in a girl, and then Lara Flynn Boyle played the female lead, Donna, who is crying all the time. So I think that she felt that, well, she was the lead, but he kept writing in more of Audrey and people liked her and they wrote her own song and then she had to dance to it and it just picked up organically, it picked up speed. I didn't know why. I was the last person that expected it. But she was so angry, I feel, that I was getting nominations and she wasn't, that she fought with her boyfriend to say split up Dale Cooper, Kyle MacLachlan, and Audrey.
Altra cosa, ma tu con Kyle MacLachlan cioè ti sei sentita dopo la serie anche perché ho visto che nel sequel non avete una scena insieme, se non sbaglio. Come mai questa cosa?
Well, I don't know. I mean, we had a relationship based on our characters. So as soon as they split us up, it's not that there was
A friendship.
animosity. Yeah, but hi, how you doing? You know, everything was fine. But I personally thought it was absolutely ridiculous to change a storyline of two characters that were working so well. You know, they were so cute together. And David said, Cheryl and Fenn, are you in love with Kyle? but Audrey loves him. You know, I'm not trying to break up somebody's relationship. The characters had something. But I didn't have like those feelings towards Kyle.
Questa è una cosa che non perdonerò mai, David Lynch, perché io ti volevo vedere insieme con Dale Cooper. Audrey Horne e Dale Cooper insieme.
Me too. And so many people feel the same way. And when I had the meeting with him for the 3rd season, I literally started crying and left him the pages and said, I hate it. And then I left. And I said to him, I can't believe that you're not even putting one moment, even if we pass each other in a car, but you're completely not acknowledging Dale Cooper and Audrey Horne at all. And he said, oh, Cheryl and Fenn, that was just your dream. I said, no, it wasn't. It's the whole fan base's dream. So I said, but it's, you know, it's not for me to say. And what was originally written in part 3 was awful. So he got mad and he had to rewrite it, he said. So.
Quindi io voglio dire una cosa, character Dana.
Dana.
Quinta domanda. Che emozioni hai provato tornare dopo 25 anni nella serie di Twin Peaks? Pensi che è stato necessario un sequel dopo tanti anni?
I was very happy. I was ecstatic. I had heard rumors, and then I called David and said, I'm not believing this unless you're saying it. And he's like, we're doing it. And we were all excited. And then he went from doing 8 episodes to 16, you know, twice as many. And so there was a lot of fighting amongst those people because they didn't want to spend that much money. And then they called and just said, is Sherilyn agreeing to do it no matter what? And I said, I just want to read it. I need to read it. I want to know what you're doing. I don't think it's Twin Peaks. I think it's a collaboration of many years of David's work. And I feel that Twin Peaks was added in little places, but I think he didn't feel that 20 years or 30, whatever it was, years later, that he wanted to go back into the town of Twin Peaks and see what was happening. So I was originally written in like having a beauty salon or something, and my son was abusive to me, and I read the pages and I couldn't believe it. I really did start crying. And I just said, David, this is not Audrey. I don't know what this is. I don't like it. There's nothing here. And I left his office crying. And I think it's an homage to all the work that he's done in his life. I don't think it's Twin Peaks Part 3.
Esatto, questa cosa l'ho pensata anche io, infatti l'unica scena che è più Twin Peaks è quando Bobby Briggs vede il quadro di Laura Palmer. Quella è una delle scene più Twin Peaks che riesco a vedere. E poi il tuo personaggio, cioè secondo me è stato messo un po' da parte, perché io volevo più scene del tuo personaggio. Io ho aspettato tanto per vedere il tuo personaggio, lo fanno uscire verso l'ultimo e vedo pure un po' scene insensate pure, secondo me dovevano fare un po' di più. Poi dopo 25 anni io non voglio immaginare chi è morto, lì è rimasto il dubbio.
I can understand. I mean, yeah. I mean, I had to fight for what was rewritten for me. Otherwise, the original draft, I would have been in the show when all the other people were, but it had nothing to do with Audrey. And I feel honestly that David was mad at me and wrote what he wrote out of anger. And I said, that's okay. I'm going to blow it out of the water. I'm going to put everything into it. I'm going to be great in this scene, even though it's you hitting out at me in a weird way. And after we shot it, he apologized and said, you were right. You were really right. The other scenes weren't you. And I'm glad we did this. And then it was my idea to be like, no makeup and in the mirror. You know, he said, now go wash off your makeup. We're going to do a shot of you where you're just completely lost. And I was like, great, you know, but yeah, I didn't see it. Yeah. I don't think David had any idea what was going to happen with the show. Like,
okay.
An executive said to me, he and Mark went fishing for barracuda and caught jaws. Like the show blew up. And then that was at a time when film was considered so much more important than television. And so for the second season, he wasn't around as much. And and this is again, my opinion, I think it makes him a little frustrated that something that he didn't think was ever going to be what it was turned into this huge thing. And that it's always with his work when he's done so much other work that maybe he feels more proud of. I don't know. I just guessed that.
Domanda numero 6. Che progetti futuri hai? Se David Lynch facesse un nuovo film, ti piacerebbe recitare ancora una volta?
This is a person who met me for 15 minutes and saw in my soul and wrote a character that 40 years later people still remember. He is amazing. He sees people's truth and I trust him. That's why, to get back on the set of Twin Peaks, I was just happy to be there with him, because I respect him and I love him and I trust him. So I'm glad to work with David anytime, all the time. And he knows that he is a true artist in a hollow wood land of people that just want to make money. He's an artist, and in a land of Hollywood where people want to tell a specific narrative to keep other people disempowered. David is an artist. He never let he always got final cut. He always maintained control and rarely worked with the big studios. After David did Dune, they cut it down to so small, it hurt him so much. His daughter told me he didn't speak for a year. He felt completely raped because this baby that he put all this energy into, they just chopped it into a million pieces, and it wasn't the movie that, so he really is just a very sensitive artist, and I would always work with him.
Beh, io lo spero che farai qualche altra cosa insieme con David. E ho visto pure Cuore selvaggio, che tu ci sei con Nicolas Cage in quella scena della ragazza, tutto molto bello. Infatti è stato il primo film che ho visto dove ci sei tu. Poi ho visto Twin Peaks da dopo.
See, he came to me in the middle of shooting, and David said, he doesn't call me Sherilyn. He calls me Sherilyn Fenn. Like all the time. Sherilyn Fenn, there's this role in my movie, and there's an accident, and this broken, bloody China doll comes over the hill, and it's you. It's like, okay. You know? So we shot in the hour with blood, and he'll just look in your eyes and think about your bobby pin, and you're going to be in so much trouble, and action, and you're just like, you know, because who knows what somebody's thinking in their, you know, they're in grave condition. She's moments from dying, and it was incredible. Even that was incredible to do. And it was a scary scene. People really remember that scene from the movie, because it was like what you would never want to find on the freeway. Oh no, a turned over car. Oh my God, something else. No luggage. What am I going to see? Me. All bloody.
E in effetti il maestro è uno dei registi più importanti e bravi del mondo, secondo me. Penso che sei d'accordo.
I agree. I agree.
È così.
I'm so happy to be on GiGi Devuto of Luigi Abdate. I'll never get it right, you guys.
Va bene. Sherilyn, ti ringrazio tantissimo che mi hai dato questa opportunità. Ti mando un grande abbraccio e per me è stato un onore, mi hai fatto sentire speciale.
Thank you so much, and it's my honor. I'm happy to be here, and look me up in Italy in the month.
Scusa se ti abbiamo rubato, scusa se ti ho rubato tanto tempo, doveva durare un'ora.
That's okay. It was really wonderful to talk to both of you. Thank you so much. Love and light to Italy. Bye bye.
Bye Sherilyn.
Love you. God bless. Thank you.
Like summertime till you were gone. I fell in love with you. And now I can't wait for summertime. It won't be long when you come back and love you like I do. Love you like I do.